My cheating wife wanted me to play daddy to her affair baby, so I sued her for paternity fraud and took everything. I 34 mem. My wife and I had been together for 5 years, no kids, just steady jobs and a comfortable home. We talked about having children someday, maybe when our finances were more solid. But then, out of nowhere, she announced she was pregnant. At first, I was surprised but curious. The timing felt off, we hadn't been trying. Still, I tried to be supportive, offering congratulations and asking how she felt. She looked uneasy, avoiding my eyes. Over the next few weeks, I noticed strange behavior. She insisted we skip the usual doctor visits together. She guarded her phone like it held state secrets. One evening, I found a message on the home computer, an email left open by mistake, from some guy advising her to keep him in the dark until the baby was born. My heart pounded. Something was wrong. I confronted her gently. "Who's this man emailing you?" She rolled her eyes, calling me paranoid, claiming he was a colleague. But that night, when she thought I was asleep, I overheard a hushed phone call in the living room. She whispered about making sure I signed the birth certificate and not telling me the truth yet. Alarmed, I waited until she left for errands the next day and dug deeper. Old messages indicated she'd been seeing someone else for months. The baby, it seemed, wasn't mine. My chest tightened. She planned to pin the child on me, to get me to raise her affair partner's baby. The sheer entitlement astonished me. Later that evening, as I tried to talk calmly, she dropped her mask. "Look," she said, crossing her arms, "this baby needs a stable father, and you're already my husband. Just do your part. You're better suited than he is." I stared at her, shocked. "Do you understand what you're asking?" She shrugged. "It's not a big deal. You've always been reliable. Think of it as a chance to be a dad." Her tone was dismissive, as if I was a piece of furniture to rearrange at will. Furious yet measured, I demanded a paternity test. She scoffed. "No need. You'll sign the certificate anyway. Why stir up trouble?" Refusing wasn't an option for me. I secretly contacted a lawyer friend to ask about my rights. He explained the legal dangers. If I signed that certificate, I'd be on the hook for child support, no matter what. He advised me to get a paternity test discreetly after birth. Meanwhile, I recorded her entitled rant on my phone for evidence. Her words, "Just do your part," burned in my mind. Days turned into weeks. She refused to cooperate with any testing, faked tears, accused me of mistrust. I stayed calm, planning my move. If she thought I'd roll over and care for another man's child without question, she underestimated me. The moment that baby was born, I'd push for the truth. If necessary, I'd sue her for paternity fraud and expose her scheme. I wouldn't be her patsy. The baby arrived a month later. She texted me from the hospital, "Come quick, sign the papers." I took a deep breath and went, accompanied by my lawyer friend, unobtrusively waiting in the lobby. The hospital staff asked if I was the father. I hesitated. My wife shot me a glare, silently urging compliance. I requested a paternity test right then and there. She exploded. "How dare you? Don't you trust me?" Her voice carried through the ward, drawing stares. I stood firm, repeating my request calmly. The nurses looked sympathetic. They'd seen family dramas before. My wife relented under pressure. The test was done discreetly. Results would take a few days. She fumed, hissing that I was humiliating her. I replied evenly, "If you have nothing to hide, why worry?" Her face twitched. At home, she tried a different tactic, entitlement mixed with pity. She claimed the affair was a mistake and that I was responsible for her emotional needs going unmet. "If you'd been more attentive, I wouldn't have strayed," she said, as if justifying her betrayal. She demanded I sign the birth certificate anyway, insisting, "A real man steps up." I refused, holding my ground. The test results arrived. I was not the father. Confirmed. Cold anger settled in my chest. My lawyer laid out the next steps. I could file for divorce and sue her for paternity fraud. In some states, seeking damages for emotional distress and attempted financial deception was possible. He believed we had a strong case. The texts, recordings, and her desperate push for me to sign legal documents acknowledging paternity all pointed to a calculated attempt. She panicked when I confronted her with the results. "Fine, so you're not the father," she spat, "but you're still my husband. You owe me loyalty. This baby needs stability." She tried to play the victim, claiming she only lied because she knew her affair partner wouldn't support the child. She even tried guilt trips. You always wanted kids, right? This is just a small detail. A small detail? She expected me to raise another man's child under false pretenses, to pay for everything, and let her continue life as if nothing happened. I told her I was filing for divorce and suing for paternity fraud. She laughed scornfully. You can't win. The courts favor mothers. You'll just waste money. But my lawyer assured me that we had a clear case of attempted fraud. We documented her attempts to force paternity acceptance, her refusal of early testing, and the deceit. The affair partner's identity surfaced. He was a known deadbeat dad with multiple unpaid child support orders. My wife tried to upgrade her situation by latching onto me as a financial provider. As I prepared legal filings, I noticed her growing desperation. She tried apologizing, crying that I misunderstood her motives. When that failed, she threatened to smear my reputation, telling friends and family that I abandoned a baby. I had the truth on my side, and I was done playing nice. I'd see her in court. The courtroom was tense. My lawyer presented the paternity test results, the recorded conversations, and text messages where she told her lover, "Don't worry, I'll make my husband think it's his kid." The judge's eyebrows rose at that line. My wife's lawyer stammered, trying to spin the narrative. She was under emotional distress, misunderstood the situation. But the evidence was damning. We asked the judge to declare I had no paternal obligation, to prevent my name from being on the birth certificate, and to grant me damages for her fraudulent attempt. In some jurisdictions, you can seek compensation if someone tries to trick you into legal fatherhood. My lawyer argued that her deception could have cost me decades of child support and emotional turmoil. The judge seemed sympathetic. My wife squirmed on the stand. She tried playing the victim again, sobbing about feeling lonely and scared. But when cross-examined, she admitted knowing the affair partner wouldn't pay a dime. She admitted hoping I'd just do the right thing. The judge asked pointedly, "You mean trick him into raising a child that's not his?" She mumbled something incoherent, and the courtroom fell silent. The affair partner didn't show up. No surprise there. We had records of her attempts to contact him, where he told her to handle it and never mention his name. This made her scheme more evident. She wanted a stable provider, not the biological father. My lawyer requested maximum legal relief, clearing me of any paternal responsibility, granting the divorce on grounds of adultery, and awarding me damages for her fraudulent conduct. The judge recessed, and we waited anxiously in the hallway. My wife approached me. "Please, let's settle this privately. I'll drop everything, just don't ruin my reputation." Her entitlement still shone through. She worried about reputation, not the harm she caused me. I said nothing, just turned away. She fumed, whispering threats. "I'll tell everyone you're heartless. I'll say you knew all along and abandoned the child." I smirked slightly. I had recordings, screenshots, a solid case. Let her spin lies. I had the truth and a court order soon to back me up. Back inside, the judge returned. The ruling was firm. I was not the father, no financial obligation, the divorce granted swiftly. Regarding damages, the judge found her attempts constituted paternity fraud and ordered her to pay a substantial sum for emotional distress and legal costs. Moreover, the judge admonished her for her behavior, putting a note on record that she acted in bad faith. My wife gasped audibly at the judgment. She'd expected a slap on the wrist at worst. Instead, she faced financial ruin, her savings depleted by legal fees and the damages owed to me. She would leave this marriage with far less than she imagined. The baby's biological father was nowhere to be found, leaving her solely responsible. Leaving the courtroom, I felt a sense of justice. She'd tried to exploit my trust and my good nature, to chain me to a life of deception. Instead, I broke free, and she faced the full weight of her entitlement. In the aftermath, my wife attempted desperate moves. She called me late at night, sobbing, "I made a mistake. I'll never find anyone like you again." That might have worked once, but not now. I told her calmly, "You broke every ounce of trust. The court saw the truth. I owe you nothing." She tried to renegotiate the damages, pleading poverty. My lawyer firmly reminded her that court orders aren't suggestions. If she failed to pay, I could enforce collection actions, maybe even liens against her property. She cursed me, calling me heartless, but she brought this on herself. News traveled quietly among our friends and family. She attempted to spin a tale of me abandoning a helpless baby, but I preemptively shared the paternity test and court documents with close relatives. They understood I was the victim of her scheme. Her credibility sank. The affair partner vanished into the shadows, leaving her truly alone with her mistakes. I moved out of that marital home and into a modest apartment, feeling lighter. Free from the lies, I focused on rebuilding my life. The damages she paid covered my legal fees and left me with a decent sum to start fresh. It wasn't about getting rich, it was about ensuring she faced real consequences. Occasionally, I heard rumors she was struggling financially, trying to chase the affair partner for child support. Good luck with that. The courts would require a paternity test for him too, and if he dodged responsibility, she'd face the hard truth of raising her affair baby without a meal ticket. Did I feel pity? A bit. A child was caught in the crossfire of her manipulations, but that was not my doing. She chose deception, hoping I'd be an easy mark. Instead, I stood up for myself, used the law correctly, and emerged unscathed. In the end, I learned that betrayal can twist people into unrecognizable forms. She banked on my kindness and turned it into a weapon. But when I refused to be a victim, the tables turned. Justice prevailed, and she lost everything she tried to gain dishonestly. Now, as I settle into my new routine, I feel calm. She can't hurt me anymore. Her entitlement cost her dearly. I hold no illusions about our past. The marriage is gone, replaced by a cautionary tale about trust and honesty.